Blackstone Publishing presents The Sniper's Wife by Archer Mayer. This book is read by Tom Taylorson. To Bob Moss, for letting me glance over his shoulder from the front row seat. Chapter 1. Willy Kunkel dipped his large right hand into the sink and scooped a splash of warm water onto his face, washing away the last of the shaving soap. He straightened, used the edge of a towel hanging to the right of the mirror to mop his cheeks and chin with the same hand, and studied his reflection in the harsh fluorescent light. He wasn't looking for flaws in his shaving, and God knows there was no narcissism taking place. Willy was the first to acknowledge his was a purely functional appearance. He had what was necessary: a nose, 2 eyes, a mouth. None of it particularly remarkable. As far as it went, it was just a face. And yet he studied it every morning the same way, carefully, warily, especially watching the eyes for any deepening of the intensity which even he found disturbing. Had he seen them on somebody else, they were eyes that would have given him pause, eyes which troubled him all the more that they were his. They were what made of the whole truly something to remember, and although he didn't know it, they were the one feature almost everyone remembered about his face. His scrutiny drifted lower, again, as usual, to his neck, to his collarbone, and finally to his left shoulder and the useless arm below it. He'd been symmetrical once, at the very least that. Now he was someone who carried an arm as an eccentric might perpetually lug around a heavy stuffed animal. Except that his burden wasn't that interesting. It was just an arm, withered, pale, splotchy with poor circulation. Something straight out of Dachau, but pinned to his otherwise healthy body. Put there by a rifle bullet in a police shootout years ago. In fact, the scar marked the dividing line between the alive and the dead of his body, the way a ragged and permanent tear identifies where a sleeve has been torn from a shirt. It did draw attention away from the eyes, though. People overlooked them altogether when describing him as the cop with one arm, which was an advantage, as far as Willy was concerned. He appreciated that a lesser but adequately flamboyant deformity covered for a far more telling one. It suited his personality and his need. As he'd watched those eyes every morning, those windows into the workings of his head, he'd actually become grateful.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?